Welcome to Notebook, a program of interest to the St. Lucie County community that features information about St. Lucie County schools. Guests include school district and community leaders with focus on children in our community.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Notebook, and this is a show where we connect you with community officials, school district personnel, and other organizations from around the Treasure Coast. And today we have a very special guest with us, Miss Michelle Jerger, who is not only a colleague but a friend.
Yes.
And so glad you're here with us today. And Michelle is going to be talking to us about student assignment, and we have some really exciting news to continue sharing with the community regarding our magnet school grants and our schools that are going to be opening as part of that. So premiering August of 2018. So we're really excited about that. So thanks for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I know you've been a very busy lady here the last couple of weeks. And the first thing that I always like to do when we're on the show is just to find out a little bit about our guests and just a little bit about your background, you know, your professional journey, how you came to become the director of student assignments. So share with us a little bit about your background.
Oh, okay. Well, this year I have been with St. Lucie Public Schools for 17 years. All 17 have been in student assignment. I came in as a manager. I worked the floor, meaning I was there. I was greeting every parent that walked through the door, assigning students to school. Eventually, our department was reorganized, and I became a senior manager. We hired a few more people, and I didn't have to work the floor as much or help parents as much, but I still was doing a lot of assigning and working with parents directly. And in 2005, I became the director of student assignment. So I've seen a lot of the changes that we've gone through as a district, from going from zones 1, 2, and 3 to red, blue, and green.
Right?
So I've seen a lot of the changes. I'm a mother of 2, so I've been through the process as a parent, and I understand how confusing and frustrating it can be sometimes. So it's very easy and simple to me as an employee because I work with it every single day, but I do understand that we have to get a lot of information out there for parents, and so glad to be here with you today so that we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And people don't realize, I think sometimes in the community, there are over 40,000 students in this district that you oversee the assignment, you know, with your department, and how busy you are from, you know, it doesn't stop. This isn't like school is out and then you get a little breather.
We're always
there. Yeah, and always busy. So today I'm really excited because you and I have been working very closely on this new project with the magnet schools that are opening, and just so mind-boggling, all the pieces and parts that come together, you know, to make this happen. And this grant has provided us an opportunity to make some amazing changes for the school district, and your role with student assignment is really significant in making this happen. And people don't really understand behind the scenes all the things that have to take place in order for everything to fall in place. And I always kind of compare it to doing a show, a musical theater performance, you know, where no one sees all the
parts.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that musical theater part comes out in me, but no one really sees all the work behind the stage, and you know, to make the magic happen when the first day of school opens. And
absolutely,
and your team is a big part of that.
Yes, we are. We have there's 10 people in my office. We speak so many different languages, from Spanish, English, French, Creole, Italian, and Portuguese.
Oh my God.
So we have someone who can communicate with you at any time.
Right.
So parents should not feel uncomfortable with giving us a call, but there are many moving parts to it. All 40,000 students have come through student assignment at one time or another. And we usually see our parents, some parents more than once, because you're going to go through elementary, then middle school, and then high school. So we developed some really great relationships with some of our parents, and some parents have even come and volunteered with us.
Is that right?
Yeah. So we have a lot going on there. And not only do we take care of the regular enrollment, but we take care of children who are within transition, that are homeless. We take care of just homeschool, we take care of it all. Any way that gets you into a school, that's what we do in student assignment.
Right. And your team is just amazing. And anytime you go into the office, it just reflects you so well, because it's that inviting, atmosphere, and just always so ready to help. And it really reflects you well.
Why, thank you. They are awesome.
Yeah.
I can't take credit for anything. They really make that office work very well.
Yeah.
Some very wonderful professional women.
Yeah. It truly is. So let's kind of delve into the next steps, because a lot of people have been finding out in the community about these new magnet schools that are going to be opening.
Yes.
And we have Fort Pierce Magnet School of the Arts becoming Creative Arts Academy of St. Lucie.
Yes.
And we're advertising that as a recruiting piece of come join the cast. So we're taking one of those A's out to kind of make that work for our marketing purposes. And then we have Samuel Gaines Academy, which as part of that, it'll still stay Sam Gaines Academy, but we've added the tag for this amazing curriculum of technology, so emerging technologies. So all of this is going to happen come August of this year. So we're really excited about that. And we had the opportunity last week to spend some time at the county fair doing some, talking to parents, talking to kids, which we were very excited about.
I know. We've had parents come in and say that they stopped by the booth and they've gotten so many great information about the program. So it was very easy for us this week with you being out there talking to families, because they've come in and told us that they saw you.
In fact, I was going to try to ask you that before the show started, and then I forgot. So it was like, oh, that's awesome to hear. So with those two schools opening, obviously many of the questions are program related, or it's how do I get my child signed up? So those seem to be the continuous questions that we had. What is this about, with the program, and what are the schools offering? And then how do I enroll my child? So I just want to talk just briefly about each one, just so the viewers really have a better understanding of what these schools are going to offer. So we have Creative Arts Academy of St. Lucie, and that one is near and dear to my heart as a music teacher. This school is going to be K through 8, and as part of the school assignment, will be enrolling students in the magnet seats for kindergarten through 8th grade. And then through that, this is going to be a true comprehensive arts program that it's going to model after what many people know in the community, Bach Middle School from West Palm, and many people in the area are probably aware of Dreyfus School of the Arts. That's always the big one. Is it going to be like a Dreyfus? Well, that's our hope. And our goal is to truly have the arts elevated in our district. So our students are going to be able to experience the performing arts in dance, drama, musical theater, arts, graphic arts. Oh yeah, just so many things. And then Sam Gaines Academy of Emerging Technologies is really going to focus on that STEM curriculum and really hit that 21st century careers related to STEM. And if people aren't familiar with STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. And the students there are going to have an opportunity to really experience coding, robotics, pre-collegiate studies. I mean, these advanced courses in both of these schools are going to be amazing. I'm really excited. And then we also have dedicated partners through the industry leaders that are going to be working with us very closely through Microsoft. So hopefully we're going to be those Microsoft schools, model schools that people are going to want to come and find out about St. Lucie Public Schools here before we know it.
That's right.
So it's going to put us on the map.
Absolutely.
And what's a little different with Sam Gaines, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second, is the magnet seats are going to be those entry-level seats, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Sam Gaines is going to be recruiting kindergarten students as well as 6th grade students.
That's correct.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So one of the things that I was asked was, why were the name change? Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Well, My understanding is that we really needed families to understand that it was a true change in curriculum. It is not your former arts magnet,
Right.
although the arts magnet was wonderful. Actually, one of the ladies in my office, one of her children graduated from there from 8th grade
Very cool.
and went through K through 8. And it did have the arts in it, but this curriculum, this school, is going to be so much different.
Right.
There's so many different, even the curriculum, down to the curriculum is going to be completely infused into everything that they do. And also it's going to have after school requirements.
Right.
So, and then there's a contract that the parent and the student has to sign. So we really wanted families to understand that it is truly a change of school. It's not the same school. It's everything about the school is going to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and one thing I want to really make clear is that we keep talking about this is going to be a magnet school. And a lot of our families that have lived in St. Lucie County for a long time, they're familiar with FK Suite Magnet and Fairlawn and Lincoln Park Academy.
Sure.
And those magnet schools have waiting lists to get in, and that's the only way that you can get into the school is through a wait list process. Well, with these two schools, the Academy of Emerging Technologies and CAST, there isn't a wait list.
Right.
It's strictly apply for the year in which you want to go into. So it's going to be a lottery process, the same as what we do for our zone schools. So the entire process to get into the school, the curriculum for the school, everything about it is changing.
And how would a parent or guardian, grandparent go about enrolling their child for these two particular schools?
Well, it's very easy. That's the easy part.
We're very excited about this part. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy. I've had some staff already housed at the school for a week or so to talk to families that are changing from the school. And we're taking applications. So currently we have paper applications that are available, and it's a very simple, basic application asking for the student's name, making sure we have the correct address in the system and who the guardian is, and just showing that you're interested. And we also have the contract on that application. So when you're reading over the application and you go to sign that application, not only are you signing that you want your child to attend one of those magnet schools, but you're also signing a contract to the agreement that falls within the school.
Right.
So that commitment agreement is so important, so parents know what they're really getting into,
Signing up for. Yeah,
right. It's because it's not the same. It's going to be more rigorous and focused on the arts for CAST and focused on those emerging technologies that are really going to prepare your children for more higher education.
Right, and those careers too.
Yeah, and career ready. Yeah.
So besides, we talked just briefly before the show, besides just the application, there's additional documentation that parents are always required to provide. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So let's talk about kindergartners first, because kindergartens
is a little different.
That's a little different. Yeah. We have your new baby coming to our school, and what we'll need is to be able to build a profile in our system for your child. So a birth certificate and 2 proofs of address are required for every kindergartner coming into the school. So regardless of whether you're applying for Gaines Academy of Emerging Technologies or for CAST, your kindergarten will need that birth certificate and the 2 proofs of address. And we're very particular about the types of proof of address that we accept in student assignment. But we made it easy for you because it's listed on the application. So you want to make sure that your all your documents are together when you bring them to student assignment. But an exciting piece is that starting next week, this application will be available online.
We're very excited about that.
I am super excited because now that we're in a temporary location, some families are having difficulties finding us because we're currently located at 501 Northwest University Boulevard, which is right down the street from the stadium in Port St. Lucie. But there's some families that struggle to get to where we are. So having this application online, not only will you be able to do your application online, you'll also be able to upload your documents. So your proof of address and your child's birth certificate, you'll be able to do that online. And if you're one of those families that may not have a computer available, but you have a cell phone,
You can still do it.
you'll still be able to do it through your cell phone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that will be available starting next week, Monday.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
exciting. Good. And you talked just briefly about a lottery system. How does that actually work for somebody that isn't familiar with it?
Well, it's a pool of applications. Every single person that submits an application, and we've started taking applications on March 1st. So we started taking applications March 1st. We'll continue to take applications all the way through the entire month of March. And my office is open from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, and we're open during
Spring break.
So if you've taken some time off to do something with the kids, bring them up to student assignment, let us say hi to them, fill out that application, and get yourself in the pool. But the lottery is simply you doing an application, and it will go into a pool of all the applications. So you do not have to be the very first person to apply.
Right.
And you can be the very last person who applies right at 4 o'clock. Each individual application is processed in one pool, so no one is going to have more priority
over
the other.
Right.
So, and then all applications are processed in a random sort. So those applications will go together and randomly be sorted, and through that each student will either be assigned. If they don't get assigned, they'll go to their zone school. So as we were talking about kindergartners, if you have a kindergartner that's coming in, when you come to student assignment or you speak to us, we're going to require you to do an application for your zone also. Mm-hmm. So for example, if I live in 34953, the tradition area,
right.
and you say, I'm really interested in the arts, I really want my child to be in the arts, you would apply for CAST, but we would also have you do an application for your zone, which would be in the red zone. Mm-hmm. And you would have to rank order those choices in the order of your preference. The first assignment that you're going to get is we're going to make sure that you have a zone assignment. And we will give you that zone assignment, and you'll be notified through the mail. Mm-hmm. Then, once we process the magnet process, which will happen after our regular zone assignments, you will get a letter telling you whether your child got in or not.
Okay. And another question that I know, just from being at the fair, is there sibling preferences? That was one, a couple of the parents asked, because there's multiple children in the family, of course, that they would love to have all at one school. But how does that work?
So, being consistent with all of our magnet programs, we do not have sibling preference. Right. There is no proximity preference. This is your child individually being sorted in the process. So each student would have to submit a separate application. So no, there isn't any sibling preference.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that was the answer, but to have that heard is always a good thing.
And with both of these programs being so exciting, I'm sure that parents would probably want to apply for more than one. Sure. Want to apply for Gaines Academy of Emerging Technologies and also for CAS, but you'll have to select which one you want to apply for.
Right.
And what's a little different about this magnet is we don't give you a 10-day grace period to decide whether you want to take
it or not.
Right. If you submit an application for any one of these two schools, even after we've given you a zone assignment, your magnet assignment is going to trump that zone assignment. So you will only be assigned to the magnet. So if your child is one of those lucky students that get those few seats that are available, you will no longer have the zone assignment, and we'll move the wait list for the seat that is available in the zone.
Right. And then another question that someone had asked is, what's the difference between a magnet application and the choice application? Because I think somebody noticed that the magnet schools weren't on the choice application because they're very different. Can you kind of explain the difference just for people listening?
Well, the criteria for your zone school is that we do have preference that's in place for your zone school. So that lottery is done very differently than the magnet lottery. So if in your zone school, the first thing we're going to look at is whether or not you have a child in the school or not. And that's going to give you a priority, and you're going to be the first group that actually gets processed. Also for your zone school, if you live less than 2 miles to the school, we're going to give you preference, and you're going to be that second group that's going to be processed in the application process. But for our magnet schools, it's strictly a random sort assignment process. There's no preference in that process. Now, there are some guidelines that we have to follow that are set by the grant, so that we can have a very diverse population in the school, and those guidelines will be followed through our lottery process.
Right. And, you know, you had mentioned the wait list as well, and would someone lose their wait list position for the other magnet school? So let's say they were on the wait list for Lincoln Park. Would they lose their wait list position if they're applying for these two magnet schools?
Applying for CAST or for the Academy of Emerging Technologies will not impact your wait list position for any other school. It will not impact, because a parent can be on more than one wait list.
Right.
So let's use the example again. I'm 34953. I have a kindergartner coming in, and I was assigned to Windmill Point. But I'm a parent who really wanted a K-8. So I'm on the wait list for, what's the next closest school would be Oak-Hammock. So I'm on the wait list for Oak-Hammock, but I also did an application for CAST. Nothing is going to change unless I get acceptance into the CAST. And the only thing that would change is that you would no longer have your windmill seat.
Very good.
Okay?
Yeah.
But wait list, we're not going to bother your wait list. And if you do not get assigned to one of the new magnet schools, we do not have a wait list. But what we will do is we will consistently put your child's name back into the pool and run that lottery over and over until we have the school filled.
Well, I have to tell you, you did an amazing job. You had put together this fact sheet that had multiple questions that you had ready for parents. And I'm telling you, almost every single question was asked when we were, you know, talking with parents last week. And it was like,
good.
Does Michelle know her parents or what? And I was like, oh my gosh, there's that question. Yep. It was just, it was perfect. And you addressed just, you know, those concerns, and, you know, your years of experience, you know, certainly shine through because you were able to answer those questions.
Every last one of us were a parent at one time that in my office, so we know when we think like parents too. So, and I have been fortunate to be able to work with so many families over the years.
Which makes it nice. And the other question was, it's always about transportation, and you know, and that's something that we've always been able to, you know, share and provide, you know, the transportation regardless of what zone you're in. If you do come to Sam Gaines or to CAST, I think, if I remember right, in speaking with transportation, you know, once the applications are done, then they'll look at where the different stops need to be, and there may be created hubs, I guess.
Now, you talk about some really dynamic people, those routers in transportation.
They're amazing.
Yeah, so what they will do is the same concept that we use for magnets currently. So for FK Suite, Fairlawn, and Lincoln Park Academy, what we have are community stops. And that same concept will be used for the Emerging Technology School and also for CAST. So we'll be using community stops for those magnet schools too. We're trying to be as consistent as possible, but the grant made us have to do the enrollment a little bit differently. And you know, we were very innovative in the way that we wanted to fill these schools, and we wanted to make sure that we could fill them quickly. And a lottery process will allow us to do that very quickly. But transportation will be provided as long as you live more than 2 miles from the school. And it will be a community stop, so it's not necessarily going to be some place that's closest to you. You may have to get that child to the bus stop, but the transportation is really good about looking at where are the students coming from, and then putting a central location to put those students.
And usually not far from where their
not
houses
at all.
are. I know, I think about a mile from my house is a large stop for, I think it's Fairlawn, and you know, there's maybe 12 kids that are, you know, but it's not that far away from our house, so you know, it's convenient, and you know, it works well. And but transportation's amazing. They are. They are. That's another group of people that it just
and I don't make it easy for them all the time. No, I'll have a parent come in and I need this school, and we try to help them get there, and if we're able to get them there, I mean, you think about it, when you come in and change your child's school, or you get a new school for the next year, transportation is looking at all of those students every single year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a very
Very
hard-
tedious.
Very tedious.
Very tedious.
Yes.
And I had
And
the chance to work with transportation a lot during summer school because I was over summer school. And
Yeah.
you know, it's not just a simple little change to say, you know, I'd rather go to, you know, this location versus this location. You know, there are a lot of steps in between that.
Oh, absolutely.
But they're just like your department. They are just always ready to help. Tell us what you need. We'll make it happen. And you know, they're a great team to work with. So one last question that I have is, let's say, just a scenario, that we have a parent that decides, I'm going to go ahead and put my child in the zone school at the beginning of the school year, and then they hear all this amazing stuff that's happening at Sam Gaines or CAST, whichever one, because we know these are going to be just amazing experiences for our kids, and they decide they want to change schools. What happens then?
So with the magnet schools, we don't have a lot of turnaround when we go with magnets. We fill the school and then we leave it alone. So as soon as the school is filled, we will no longer be taking applications. And starting, eventually that application will only be online. And what will happen is you won't see that button that will say click here to apply. So eventually that will be an online process only. And but at this point, because every single grade level is available at the new Creative Arts Academy of St. Lucie, we have quite a few seats to fill. But we're still talking about a smaller campus because it's going to be such a involved program that's going to be for each grade level. So we will continue to take applications until the school is full. Once we reach August, we will close the application window unless we are told to do differently. And then for Gaines Academy of Emerging Technologies, we will fill those 2 grade levels, which we're only taking applications for kindergarten and 6th grade. And as soon as those seats are filled, we will no longer take applications. There won't be a wait list for you to get on. There won't be sibling preference. But if you did not get in the following year, when that application window opens, which we've planned to open it in October, if I remember correctly, we'll open it in October for the next school year, you'll be able to apply next year.
So it's very, very important that people, if they are even have the slightest interest of having their students be a part of this, they need to go online and get these applications filled out as soon as possible.
Yes, I'm anticipating that these seats will go very, very quickly, especially for the Academy of Emerging Technologies. Those seats are going to go very quickly. And CAST, you know, people have been really looking for a performing arts school. And the wonderful thing is that we are starting it at kindergarten. So if you have that little one who's interested, but you're just not sure, why not go ahead and get them fully immersed into the curriculum and the arts. And I also want to stress that even though it is an art school, we're still looking at a rigorous curriculum.
Very much so.
So you don't have to worry about they're just going to be dancing and playing music all day. They're going to be getting their academics done also.
So where the artists and the academics are merged together.
The full package, the triple threat.
There you go. There you go. And that's what we're looking for. So before we go, if you'll just share your contact information, just if parents, you know, if they're listening and they're saying, I want to go do this, what do I do? So, and if you'll share that with us, that would be awesome.
Okay, so student assignment is open from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock. We lock our doors. And we are at 501 Northwest University Boulevard in Port St. Lucie. We're just down the street from the stadium. Now, if you put that in your GPS, it's going to take you directly to the Pruitt IRSC building, but we're in front of that building. So we're there, and our phone number is 429-3930. Call us anytime. It's best to ask us questions, not ask your friends or your relatives, and not even the school. Ask us. That's what we're there for. Ask us. We do the process. We process the applications. We're going to be able to see your application. We can answer any questions that you may have. Call us.
Well, thank you for being here with us
it's my
today.
pleasure.
Thank you for all you're doing to help make this happen.
Thank you.
Couldn't happen without you and your team, and just knowing all of the exciting things that are just, ready to.
We're ready.
To explode, really. I mean, the thought of just the opportunities that this is going to give our kids here in St. Lucie County, and just making a difference in their lives, from here to,
It's really exciting to be a student in St.
really
Lucie
is.
right now.
It is.
We have some great academic programs going on and great leadership to help us through it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for being here.
My
and
pleasure.
We'll look forward to seeing you next time on Notebook. And we just want to remind you, if you are interested in your child attending these schools, we want to encourage you to get those applications completed as soon as possible and watch for the amazing things that are happening just around the corner in St. Lucie Public Schools. Thanks for being with us and have a great day.